Well, welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. We got some more news and rumors to dive into after the Joe Thuney trade took place earlier today. If you want a full breakdown of that, go check that out on the channel. But some news items to discuss. Center position plus busy day in the NFL. A lot of free agency things happening to get ahead of free agency, I should say. We'll dive into that a little bit as well. Let's start with the center position. What's the situation with the Bears and Drew Dalman? Are they still going to pursue the Falcons free agent center to be, or is that ship completely sailed? I think it's up in the air still. I don't think it's a done deal, but Jonah Jackson counting almost $12 million against the cap. Joe Thuney, $16. Now that could change with Thuney. They could extend him to lower his number. Certainly in play. It's unclear if Drew Dalman is still in play or not. If you look at the updated Bears cap space, just over $50 million. So certainly plenty to work with, right? That's still top 10 in the NFL. We outlined on a video a few weeks ago. There's plenty more ways to create cap space. They could still restructure some guys if they want to, and they could certainly extend Joe Thuney, which would create more cap space as well. This is where the offensive line sits as of now. This is how things sit, and we'll take that asterisk off Bill Murray the next time we use this graphic because we got a little news on him. He is back. But you look at this left to right, clearly you still need a center, and TBD left tackle. Braxton Jones will be in the mix, but he's injured. Ryan Poles talks about competition there, so they could certainly do something there. But your two guards and right tackle are filled unless Jonah Jackson's going to play center, but I would be surprised if that is the case. The point is center is still needed, and the Bears still have money to fill it. If they want to pay big for Drew Dalman, they could certainly do so. But if you joined our live show earlier today, I kind of speculated, are they going to pay big money for Drew Dalman, especially if that number creeps towards 18, 19, even $20 million per year? That's a bit of a tough sell. You look at the group out there, Dalman is clearly the top guy right now because he's 26, 27 years old. He's had success. He's ascending as a player, at least to an extent. Ryan Kelly is a veteran. Josh Myers is around Drew Dalman's age, hasn't been as good in the league, but he is a bigger center. Maybe Ben Johnson would be intrigued with that. He's had bigger centers with Frank Ragnow in Detroit. Bringing back Coleman Shelton, Austin Corbett, a couple of other options as well. If this thing gets over $15 million per year, I'm not saying I'm completely out. Although making him close to the highest paid center, I think that'd be a tough sell. I do wonder if they would go cheaper center, draft somebody, and then throw money at an edge. Like, what if the Bears want to go pay Khalil Mack 2 years and $40 million? What if Chase Young is a player Dennis Allen is really pushing for? Could they be in the Josh Sweat sweepstakes? Because it'd be kind of tough to pay Drew Dalman and then get one of these edges. Do you have the money to do it? Yeah, you could, but I don't know if they would do both. Like, I don't know if they still have Dalman big contract edge up their sleeve because they have depth needs. They're probably going to have to sign at least one free agent receiver. They're going to have to get at least a tight end in free agency. They still have offensive line depth. Like, you're going to have to add some other pieces to fill out this roster. So I don't know if Drew Dalman's creeping $18 million per year if they're going to go that route, especially if they want to beef up their pass rush. Pick one to sign, just hypothetical. You can pick one of these. Who would you rather have? Type DD for Drew Dalman, KM for Khalil Mack. In a vacuum, I think Khalil Mack's a better player, even though it would be a shorter-term deal, 1 to 2 years versus 3 or 4 for Dalman. Obviously, Dalman's younger, so it's kind of pick what you're looking for there. And if you feel good about other center options or getting someone in the draft, I'd probably go Khalil Mack. If you don't, if you feel bad about the other options, then yeah, you'd probably have to go Drew Dalman. So curious what Bears fans think. DD for Dalman, KM for Khalil Mack. Okay, a couple of news items here that I want to get to. Jordan Schultz had the report that the Bears have tendered exclusive rights free agent Daniel Hardy, who was a great special teamer last year. And when an ERFA gets tendered, that essentially means that player is back. So he will be back in the fold this next season. Like the move. Core special teamer, flashes a pass rusher in the preseason. I still think there's some developmental potential there. I think he led the team in special teams tackles. Did have a couple of personal foul penalties. He gets a little aggressive there, but I like the violence in which he plays with, the aggressiveness in which he plays with. So basically a vet minimum type of situation. Certainly do not mind that re-signing, tender, whatever you want to call it, for the Bears. Also like this one, Tom Pelissero, kind of a forgotten man here. Bill Murray has been tendered as well, so he'll be back in the fold. And in limited snaps before he had a season-ending injury, I thought he showed promise. I don't know if he's ever a starter in the league, but remember, this is a guy who was once a defensive lineman, switched to the offensive line, still is learning the position, played pretty well in those couple of games he got in there in the early part of the season when Tevin Jenkins was missing some time. So I definitely like that as a depth piece at minimum to compete for a backup job and at maximum to be a quality backup. I think that's very much in play for Bill Murray. Should be able to play both guard spots. So if you feel good about him as an interior backup, you've got one backup in place. As of now, Ryan Bates is still on the roster, so we'll see if that continues to be the case. What about Matt Pryor? He's someone I would like to bring back. I thought he played pretty well a year ago. He can play guard and tackle, so you've got that versatility. And obviously, Karan Amagashi, who I expect to be on the roster as well. So if you bring Pryor back and then sign a center, draft a lineman, that you might have your O-line room. It might be pretty set pretty quickly here for the Chicago Bears for 2025. Okay, if you are set or looking to get set financially, Rocket Money is the app that is going to help you out. It is a personal finance app that can help find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and help lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions and a clear view of my expenses. I can see all my subscriptions in one place, and if I see something I don't want, Rocket Money can help me cancel it with a few taps. I love how the dashboard shows me this month's spending compared to last month, so I can clearly see my spending habits. Plus, they help me create custom budgets and keep me on track with my spending. They'll send me reminders throughout the month, which is very, very nice because I got a lot of expenses as a dad of a 2-year-old in daycare, house mortgage, all that stuff. Got to stay on top of that stuff, and Rocket Money has me covered. And they'll have you covered as they have all 5 million users and counting covered, as they have saved customers $500 million in canceled subscriptions alone, and members can save up to $740 per year when you use all of the app's features. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions today by going to rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. It's rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. That link is in the comments and in the description. Stay on top of your finances today with Rocket Money. Okay, let's take a look at some wide receiver 3 options for Chicago. A couple of names that caught my attention of players that got cut earlier today. Tyler Lockett, longtime Seattle Seahawks, has been in the league for 10 years, a core player for that team. He got released by Seattle. Now Adam Schefter's already linking him to the Raiders. Pete Carroll connection, they need receiver help. So that could make some sense. But until that happens, he'd be someone on my radar. And then Christian Kirk with the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. Remember, he got a huge contract a couple of years ago in free agency. Played pretty well the first year, but then has been banged up the last 2. Still only 28 years old in his case. So a couple of guys that would be on my radar as a potential wide receiver 3 if the price is right. Lockett is just steady Eddie. I mean, he's certainly declining at this point in his career. He is in his 30s, but I still think as a clear wide receiver 3, know your role, culture, leader type. I like that. You're already seeing the Bears try to bring in guys like that. Joe Thuney's going to be a tone setter. Tyler Lockett can provide a lot to a locker room. He's meant a ton to that Seattle team who has won a lot of games over the years. So on the low end, I kind of think you can get him at a decent price, a career low across the board last year. I mean, get him $7-8 million bucks. I mean, I'd be intrigued with that. Christian Kirk, I wonder if he'll cost a little more, even though he's missed some time the last 2 years, missed 5 games in 23, missed about half of last season. He's certainly more explosive, right? He would give you more juice at 28 years old and still in the prime of his career in theory if he can stay healthy. But obviously that would be a concern with teams, which might drive his price down. I kind of look at both of those guys. Like, I think they'd both be cheaper than Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen could probably flirt with like $13-15 million a year. I'm not doing that for Keenan. Kirk, maybe he's 10 to 12. Lockett less than 10. I think they're both ideal wide receiver 3s. I would just go with the cheaper one if both are players that the Bears are interested in. I don't think they're in the business of paying a wide receiver 3 north of $10 million. So I think they would look at this like, okay, if we can get one of these guys for 6, 7, 8 million bucks, we would do it. But if it's going to be over 10, probably out. But if the price is right, I mean, both these guys I think would bring a lot to this locker room as role players, especially in Lockett's case. It feels like it fits him more in terms of role player, back 9 of his career. Kirk might look to just go take the most money out there at 28 years old, whereas Lockett, maybe you get him at a good price and he comes in and plays a big role in that locker room and, a minor role on the offense. Pick a wide receiver. Who would you rather have? TL for Tyler Lockett, CK for Christian Kirk. Again, I think Kirk would offer more juice. Lockett, more of a steady presence. So kind of comes down to what you'd be looking for, especially when it comes to money. This came through the wire as well. Mike Silver of The Athletic reports that if the Commanders cannot find a trade for Jonathan Allen, they're expected to release the veteran defensive tackle. And just a couple quick thoughts here. Again, the last couple years has not played great as a run defender, but he is still a good interior pass rusher. If he frees up, I would look to sign him in a heartbeat. Again, all these things are money dependent. We get that. But if you could find him on a reasonable contract for 1 year, like I'd even go 10, 11 million bucks for him as a just heavy rotation pass rusher from the interior, I'm a big fan of that. He's played with Montez Sweat, so you think that would be a natural transition. He could help a guy like Gervon Dexter, I think, take the next step in his career, and he still has some game as a pass rusher. Not going to give you much as a run stopper probably at this stage, but I think as a guy who can get after the quarterback, I still think he can provide some production there. So a name I'm monitoring. I wouldn't trade for him, but if he did free up and the price was right, he would definitely be someone I would be interested in as well. All right, busy news day in the NFL. DK Metcalf requesting trades. Don't even ask. It's not going to happen. The Bears already have a lot of money invested at receiver. That's why we're talking wide receiver 3 types. Zach Bond extension, lots of stuff. Crosby, busy day. We cover it all on my other channel, 4 Verts. If you want to stay on top of the NFL, go watch that. But obviously here on Bears Now, all things Chicago Bears related. So we will continue to keep you guys in the loop. We'll have a video up on the channel in the morning, and then, of course, we will go live tomorrow afternoon for Bears Now Live, including with my new mock draft. So be on the lookout for that. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down, and we'll see you soon.